Alright, today we got circles in the coordinate plane. So that's kind of taking a more algebraic approach to our circles that we've been dealing with. So consider this equation. Apparently it's the equation of a circle here. And we're going to plot all the points that we get here. And we're just going to take some random x values. Apparently 5, 4, and 3. And you got positive and negative versions of that. We're going to see if we can get the shape of the circle plugging those in. So what I'm going to do here first is I'm going to plug in the 5. So I'm going to go 5 squared plus y squared and then equals 25. Okay, now the 5 squared you'll get 25. So you have 5 squared and then y squared and then equals 25. And then you're going to get y squared equals 0 once you subtract from both sides. And then when you square root 0, it's still going to be 0. So you're going to get y equals 0. Now here's the nice thing here, when you go and plug in -5 and you square that, it's still going to get you positive 25, so that will not change our answer. So whenever you plug in 5, you get 0, and then also whenever you plug in -5, you also get 0. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and plot those there, -5, 0, and then 5, 0. Okay, so next we'll plug in some other numbers here, see how it works out. So we have, first of all, 4 squared, and then plus y squared, and equals 25 squared. Now the 4 squared, that should get you 16. When you subtract that over, when you subtract that over from the 25, you're going to get y squared, I guess, equals 9. And then you got to keep in mind here, since we're taking an algebraic approach here, we need to think, okay, when we square root both sides of an equation, that gets us a positive and a negative version of your answer. If I plug in positive 3 back into y squared, you'll get 9. If you plug in -3 back into y squared, you get positive 9 as well. So we're going to write plus or minus 3 for that answer. Let's go back to the same color here. So there's 4 different combinations here. You can plug in 4, you get 3. You also get the -3, so that's whenever you plug in positive 4. If you go plug in a -4, you square a negative, it still comes out as the same numbers there. So that'll be 4, positive 3, and then -4, negative 3. You got 4 points right there. And we'll go ahead and plot them all. And if I'm going too quick here on the plotting, just go ahead and pause your video for a second. So there's those 2 points. There we go. So it kind of looks like that might be the right and left sides of our circles, or our one circle, I guess I should say. So now it's kind of the same from here. So we got 3 squared plus y squared and equals 25. That's 9. Subtract 9 from both sides, it's 16. And just like before, if you square root both sides of your answer there, that's getting you positive and -4. So then we can say 3, 4, 3, -4. That's what we're looking through. And -3, 4, and -3, -4. So let's get those points plotted correctly. There we go. So we're really starting to see the shape of the circle. We'll go ahead and get this last point here. Now the nice thing is when you plug in 0 squared, you're just going to get y squared left over and then equals 25. Yes, if you wanted to write it out like that. And then when you square root both sides, plus or minus 5. So notice all of these numbers work out very cleanly. There you go. And then you can go ahead and sketch your circle as best you can. That's kind of decent. It's not my best circle ever. It's not the worst, but there you go. There's how to graph a circle. Now, where this equation comes from We had the x squared plus y squared equals 25. Where it comes from is the distance formula. The definition of a circle is all points that are a given distance away from a center point. So it's the set of every single point and every in-between point. You can plot an infinite amount of these in between all the points there. So it's the set of all the points right there. So it's derived from the distance formula. All right, instead of using the distance, they use r here. And then to clean it up, I guess they want to get rid of the square roots, so they square both sides. So here's the main equation there. And I think on the next page they kind of, spell out each point or each thing there. So you're going to have this h and k. That's the center of your circle. And then notice here you got your radius for r. Notice in the equation it is r squared. So if that was like 100 on that side, the radius would be 10. You have to think kind of backwards, I guess, and then square root both sides. And then now we're going to go ahead and write equations given that stuff here. So notice you have h and k. One thing I also forgot to point out here is notice that you have minus h and minus k. So think of opposite signs. That'll help us out. So if I go and plug in those opposite signs here, let's start out with the x. We'll go x minus the h, so x minus 0, and then we'll square that. And we'll clean that up here in a second. And then y minus negative 5, which changes to plus 5. Okay, the radius is 3.7, so I just need to do 3.7 squared. And then we'll clean that up. Now instead of writing x squared, or x minus 0 squared, I'm just going to write x squared. You can put parentheses, I guess, if you want. Don't really need them. We do need parentheses around this y plus 5, though. And then 3.7 squared. Let me grab that real quick. Apparently 13.69. That would be an equation of a circle there. Okay, so you're just looking at your center, you're looking at your radius, and then you're writing an equation. With this one here, we're going to find the standard equation of a circle from this graph here. So two things we need for our equation. We need the radius, and then we also need the center. So the center, it looks like it's marked here. The center is at, what is that, -1, comma, +3. So we'll plug that into our formula here in just a second. For the radius, you just either want to count, up, down, left, or right from that point right there. So I'm going to count here to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4 units away. So then that'll be 4. And then we'll start plugging everything in. It'll start with x minus the h, which is -1, and then so that'll be minus -1. That'll be +1 right there because of the double negative. And then we'll put plus, and then y minus your k, so y minus 3. So don't forget, just opposite signs here on these typically. Alright, and then we're going to write 4 squared. 4 squared will be 16. And then that will be your equation right here for the equation of that circle right there. So this next one here, I guess we're going to graph the equation of the circle given the equation. So we have the center right here. Remember the h and k, think of opposite signs. So it'll be 2, -3. Alright, and then be careful. A lot of people want to say the radius is 16, and it's not 16 there. You got to square root it because this thing is kind of like having r squared. So we need to square root that. R is actually going to be 8 in this case. Or not 8. How about I do math correctly there, 4. And then we'll go and plot the circle here. Notice that the ticks here is kind of annoying, but the ticks are in 2. So it's 2, -3 right there. So if this is 2, this is -3. Kind of annoying. But then we're going to go up to, or well, up 4 technically, but up 2 units, down 2 units, left 2 units, right 2 units there. So let's get that going. Up, truly 4, down 4, right 4, and left 4. There we go. There's your circle. So just kind of be careful. But really, the only thing y'all usually mess up is the radius part. So just be careful. And then opposite signs. Okay, determine the center and diameter of the circle's equations right here. So notice this one here, no parentheses. So you can put them there if you want, but there's nothing inside of the parentheses. Therefore, your center, it's not going left or right, up or down. It's just 0, 0. Here to find your radius is the square root of that number. It's not 100, it's the square root of that. So it should be 10. And actually, I think they asked for the diameter. So the diameter would be 20 in this case as well. Okay, let's see what's going on here with this one. This one, center, opposite signs, so that'd be 12, comma, and then -5. Let's see if I can get rid of that. There we go. And then the radius is the square root of 64, so that should be 8. But then if you want to find the diameter, got to double that, so that'd be 12 for the diameter.